We're back live again. Garbs, how are we feeling this afternoon?
Not bad, brother. Not bad.
Good. All right. We're focused. What is today's date? November 13th, 2023. Uh,
Monday.
Monday. Monday. Penn State just played arch rival right down the street, those Lehigh Hawks. Garbo, before we get into that, let's have a recap of last week and the bets that were made. I had a bold statement and it actually came to fruition.
The over in, in
Yes.
Baylor and Auburn, that was a bold statement. I thought that was a slam dunk.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it was slam dunk over 160. The over hit 140, 143 and a half. I think I had it. So I'm starting off season 1-0 on bets.
I got
Start off
that
season
late.
1
It
0.
was it was 147 when I got it.
I
So
know.
I
Yeah.
got in
Free tip.
early.
Free tip.
I'd like to count the Oregon 1-0, but I didn't get to give it out on here. So
Yeah, fair enough. Well, just a little bit of glow in there before we get into it. But Garbo, big news coming from the young boys of Happy Valley in the recruiting era. What did Penn State pick up this week?
we got Miles Goodman out of
Mm-hmm.
Seattle. I think he's 6'10", center guy. Then
Okay.
we got Dominic Stewart and Javon Carter. And I think
Nice.
Dominic Stewart and Miles Goodman played a little bit together. Travel ball.
Okay. I mean, it just shows it. We're going 2,000 miles down the road. Mike Rhodes, little pun in there. To get these recruits. I mean, this is good things to come. I think he's a 4-star recruit. Um, I mean, based on paper, this kid's looking like the second best recruit in Penn State history. I think.
Yeah, I think something along those lines. But that's one thing we didn't get to see with Shrews. A lot of people are upset Shrews left. We never really saw him recruit or what he could bring in. He was a new head coach. He hadn't had a head
Mm-hmm.
coaching role before, but we saw a lot of transfers come in, people with experience. This Rhodes guy, he's going to get transfers, but he's also getting freshmen that he's going to be able to work with theoretically for 4 years. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard not to like the trajectory of the program when he's getting guys like Miles Goodman.
Exactly. And National Signing Day, three big signees. Momentum's rolling. 2-0. I mean, why not get a couple more? But let's talk about that last win we just had against Lehigh. What are your takeaways from that?
Well, Lehigh really impressed me, man. They move really well off the ball. I know you
Mm-hmm.
talked about it. They have some good ball handlers.
Mm-hmm.
Higgins Jr., he had 19 points. And a theme I saw with the Lehigh offense is obviously they had good shooters too, but they could just come off screens, get the ball in the middle of the paint, and huck up a little floater over Wahab. And it
Mm-hmm.
seemed like they must have had 15, 20 points just throwing up little floaters in the paint. And it's tough to defend when a team can move off the ball that well. Obviously, we're still ironing things out, and we talk about on offense a lot. This team hasn't played together, but that's true on defense too. And Rhodes is going to want to see a lot of switching with his man to man, and we just got to
Mm-hmm.
learn when to switch, how to switch, and we're going to figure it out. And that was a perfect team to play to get ready for teams like Texas A&M, the Big Ten schedule, because they're not full of incredible athletes, but they play smart and they do the little things well, and they're tough to beat for uh not Power Five school.
Right. And one thing I want to note on that was a surprise. A surprise for the round was Ace Baldwin Jr. coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Which I personally did not see coming, but like I said in the last podcast, the first game that he had with 5 points, it was the worst game ever. Coming off the bench, he doubled his output on points. It seemed to do a spark off the bench, but just notes to your point of having a deep bench, a deep team. Do you see this as a theme going on for the rest of the year?
As far as Ace coming off the bench,
Ace coming off the bench, or one of our main starters of something coming off the bench, some spark plug, because it seems like he's got a bunch of rotations that he's looking to play, and a bunch of
yeah,
guys that can play.
yeah. I mean, we'll know more when Puff gets back, but I
Right.
think the main move for this was to get guys like DeMarco Dunn a little more experience and
Mm-hmm.
make get him a little bit more comfortable. He had 9 points, five of those were in the first 5 minutes or so. It was a
Yes, they
very
were.
very quiet 9 points. But if you can get guys like DeMarco comfortable, Jameel Brown who had 20 points in our first game, that's going to
Yep.
benefit you down the road. And it's just smart to get guys like that time. And the other thing that I thought was going to be a big part of the team the first two games was Ace and Kanye just being dominant ball handlers, be the guy we go to for buckets. And it's kind of like a waste almost to have them on the court at the same time all the time.
Right.
One interesting move Rhodes made when it came to subbing was Kanye had like 8 points in the first 4 minutes, and then we pull him, and then he kind of cools off. And that's something that we're going to work it out. But it felt like he kind of killed a little bit of offensive momentum that Kanye had going for him.
Right. I mean, but still, back to your point, DeMarco Dunn. It was somebody we didn't see in the first game. He had those quick 5 points. I honestly think it was even less than 5 minutes. But who else stood out for you in this game?
Hicks,
Who gets the cookie of the game? Where I want to go to.
It's not Hicks, it's Kern. But okay,
Kern.
so Hicks took 7 shots, I think, and he missed every single one. I looked up his stats from Temple. He was averaging 9.6 a game. And I was sitting in my usual seats pretty close, and Ace passed him the ball, and he said, "Hit that, Zach." Zach passed it right back to Ace. Ace passes it to him again, says, "Hit that, Zach." So you can see guys on the court have confidence in this Hicks guy. We haven't seen him do much yet this season, but the confidence his teammates have around him is encouraging. But yeah, I mean, Kern, defensively and in the little things, he's not going to be a scorer, but he's similar to Miles Dredd, where he does those small things that help you win. And I guess that would be my cookie. He had 2 chase down blocks and off the backboard. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to hear. Well, unfortunately, I don't have any cookies, but this is the meat and bones, meat and potatoes, what I want to get into, Garbo. And this might be a hot take, but I just want to show you some things. I want to show you, and I want to get your thoughts on. Is that okay with you?
Please, that's
all right. I'm going to share my screen for this one.
Oh.
All right. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. First and foremost, I just want to put this up while it's still here. Men's basketball stat leaders 23 and 24. Look at the defensive leaders. Look who's at second place right under Armando Bacot. Who is that?
Wahab with rebounds.
Wahab with rebounds, averaging 15 and a half a game.
Gotta love it. I mean,
gotta love that. I mean,
said this last game too, though. Context. But yeah,
it is. It's early. It's early. I just want to put that up there. And just go to my next little point. So this is Penn State football. This is Penn State football I want to show you right now. Look who's at number 1 for turnover margin. Look who's number 1. Penn State, right? Penn State football. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean,
is that context? I mean, Penn State
turnover
that's not margin.
Context, but we're not a football podcast. I mean,
no, I know we're not. I just want to put that up there. We're number 1 in football.
We have more losses in football than picks thrown.
Well, it's based off of turnover margin, right?
I see the fumbles lost too. Yeah, but okay, so where were you going with this?
So where I want to go with this is our basketball team now, where we are currently for total turnovers, and we have only played 2 games compared to a couple 3 guys up here. We are currently the 10th worst in Division I. We are ranked 323 in total turnovers.
323 in total turnovers.
Correct. So all Division I, and again, we've only played 2 games. So as you can see, we're averaging. What is that? We're averaging 18 turnovers a game.
Wow. I like this little rabbit hole you took me down. I was wondering where you were going, and then okay. So what do I think about that?
And then tell me what you think about that, and then I'm going to show you the last slide, and it'll make you upset, but I think it's a conversation we need to have.
Okay. We have 2 guards who are ball dominant guards. They're not very tall. They create off the dribble. When you're creating off the dribble, you're going to turn the ball over a little bit. We have a lot of guys playing ISO ball. Some guys sitting next to me at the game said we're not going to win playing ISO ball. But when you don't have shooters like we had last year, where you come off a pick, you hit a 3, you have to lean on ISO ball a little bit more, and ISO ball leads to turnovers. I'd be curious to see how many Wahabs racked up. I know Ace has racked some up. It's a concern. It's a problem, but that's just the type of basketball we're playing, if that makes sense.
No, you're right. We don't have a lot of shooters. We do a lot of pick and pop, a lot of drive
Yeah,
and kick out. Um, and now
a
this
lot
is
of
the point I want to
on-ball
get
screening.
on ball screen.
Yeah,
This is the point I want to get to. And I'm not going to raise the flag and panic, but is this cause for concern looking at NCAA players' stats turnover? Do you see who's number 5 right there, tied for second in turnovers per game?
our guy,
Kanye Clary, who
Kanye
also happens to be
Clary.
our point leader.
Hmm.
Um, but the point I want to make is Kanye Clary at times more harmful than he is good with
No
the amount of
way.
turnovers that he does compared to his points.
No way.
Okay.
No, you
Is
got to
is it
accept
is
the
it
good and the bad. You got to accept the good and the bad. Who's going to create offensively for us if Kanye isn't? You have to accept that he's going to turn the ball over some. Um, Kanye is similar a little bit to Sam Sessoms. I think he's a
okay?
better athlete than Sam Sessoms. He might be a better shooter than Sam Sessoms. Um, but one of the big problems with Sam Sessoms is what you bring up here, turnovers. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it got to the point where we had a lot of guards in this type of basketball we were playing. He didn't really fit last year, and he ended up transferring. I forget exactly where to, and was one of the leading scorers in NCAA basketball.
Yeah, Coppin State is where
Um,
he transferred to.
just the offensive firepower we have, we need Kanye to create. And when you ask a guy who's built like Kanye and plays the way Kanye does to create and try to almost take over the game in a sense,
Right.
you're gonna turn the ball over. That's just the nature of the offense.
That's true. But to my point and last question on this, does this seeing this with certain turnovers and steals is not would it make sense to lean on Qudus Wahab doing some more in the touch in the paint to take that pressure off Kanye where he doesn't have to make anything, or maybe like Jameel Brown, a guy who's shooting 80% from three right now, to get that kick out
Yeah.
game. I mean, right, we played Delaware State,
Hmm.
We played Lehigh. They're not defensive juggernauts. Are you not nervous for when we play somebody like Purdue or even Michigan State, who is known for their defensive clamps
Of
against
course.
guards?
Of course. I mean,
Like, I mean, how do we how because you're right, he'll make his turnovers, but he cannot have 7 turnovers like he did last game against Lehigh. How does Kanye at least dwindle that number down to maybe 3?
I don't know how he does that. I mean, obviously last year he wasn't asked to do the same thing on as a consistent basis as he will be asked this year. So this
Mm-hmm.
guy, other than practice, he has 2, 3 games under his belt where 40% of the time that he's on the court, he has to go create something. Last year,
Right.
he had those shooters. He didn't have to go create something and make his own offense, our own offense. You bring up Jameel Brown. Jameel, he's a gamer, man. He plays, but he's not Andrew Funk quick. He's not
Right.
Seth Lundy quick. He's not going to move off the ball and have enough time to catch and shoot. He's not going to take somebody off the dribble, step back on a consistent basis. He will sometimes and
Mm-hmm.
create his own shot. He's somebody who is a great second option for when you get guys like Kanye and Ace going, then they can kick to the Jameel Brown. Wahab, dude, great rebounder, great defender. You see him make a couple hooks here and there, but we're not going to be Zach Edey feeding Wahab
Right.
at any point
Okay.
in the season, in my opinion.
Okay.
Is that what you say about those two players you specifically brought up?
No, I was gonna say give some Qudus Wahab more time, but I mean, again, we're still ironing things out. Luckily, we're not in Big Ten conference play. We can make these mistakes early in the season. Look at them now, like we're doing now, and go from there and improve. But that is something, St. Francis. I'm going to look at the box score and say, all right, how many turnovers did Kanye Clare have this time? I mean,
That's
I'm just going to be
another
looking at for the next couple of games.
that's another winless team, and I like the Kanye turnover tracker you were planning on doing. Ty's
Yep.
Kanye turnover tracker. Um, Zach Hicks, dude. So the confidence that I saw Ace Baldwin have in Zach Hicks and just his build and the type of player he can be one of those guys like Lundy who could create for himself.
Mm-hmm.
But we've yet to see him really take over for any portion of a game. I really like Kern, but that guy's not gonna be a shooter slash scorer necessarily. He's gonna
Right.
do everything other than put the ball in the hoop, which you need guys like that. But yeah, I mean the turnovers, that's the type of game we're playing right now.
Okay. I mean, we do get a lot of turnovers, but I want to look to the rankings that just came out, Garbo. Um, team if we're gonna focus on Big Ten, we got to talk about Michigan State. Just last week, ranked number 4. They are going all the way down to, let me check here. I want to say it's either 16 or 18. Purdue is still up at the top.
They're at
But
18, yeah.
looking at 18, but looking at the rankings, Garbo, I'm only seeing 3 Big Ten teams, and only one of them is in the top 15. What's going on with the Big Ten?
I mean, Michigan State specifically, the first episode I kind of touched on, they are a notorious slow starter.
Mm-hmm.
So the Michigan State team now is not going to be the Michigan State team in December and January. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Still early, but rankings are out. Arizona beating Duke, they vaulted up, but
To,
too
I
early
mean,
to
to
tell.
that point too, a conference that I never gave much love to, the Big East.
Yep.
Like it's been the Big East the last year, two
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah. Look at Marquette. Look,
number
Marquette. You have
4.
Cam. You have Cam and Shaka there. Cam is one of the best scorers in NCAA, and I like where they're at. Honestly, they have one of the best offenses in college basketball right now.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
looking forward, Garbo, running out of time. Looking forward and bets. Who do you like this week? What's a play that you want to make? Nuts on the table. Who you going with?
I think you're gonna be thinking very similar to me. Duke minus 2.5.
No, I wasn't actually thinking that, but I do have a bet in that game. No, I do not have Duke minus 2.5.
What do you got?
This could be the first ever Gates and Garbs parlay special. If you want to same game
Oh,
parlay, I honestly like the over in that game. I like the over in that game for 2 reasons. Tyson Walker on Michigan State, he's a bucket. Kyle Filipowski on Duke is a bucket. They're going to get their own. And I think this game goes over 150. I think the over is at 147.
142.
140, is it 142?
Yep, that's what I got right here.
We're taking it. We're taking the over and Duke minus 2.5. We'll do the Gates and Garbs parlay. I like
Interesting.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie to you. I can't lie to the viewers. I haven't had a chance to watch either of these teams yet. Dude, I've been going to the Penn State basketball games. I got
Fair enough.
school. I haven't. I've sadly not had a chance to watch as much basketball as I will in a couple weeks, but yeah, it's not a bad bet to bet against Michigan State in November.
No, that's fair. That's fair, especially a 4 against 2 ranked team. Well, I guess Michigan State's now 16.
Well, Duke's home too, man, and that
True.
arguably this is the sport that home court advantage makes the biggest difference.
Arizona, they seem otherwise. Arizona was very comfortable at Old Camden and Indoor, but that's for another day. But Garbo, any final thoughts before we sign off today?
No, I mean I'm upset you didn't give a cookie of the game.
I didn't have a cookie of the game. I had to give the raisin cookie of the game, and I gave it to Kanye. I'm sick of seeing those turnovers, Kanye. You get the raisins today, dude.
Ugh.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay, well, next time I want a cookie. I want
All
somebody to
right.
get a cookie.
Next time we'll give a cookie. Let's go Penn State beat St. Francis
And Morehead State.
and Morehead State
We're doing
and
2 at a
Morehead State.
time.
We'll do. All right, Garbo. I'll see you on the other side.